You know the feeling when you've given everything, your time, your energy, your money, and you're still treated like you're invisible. I've lived it for years. My name is Emily Carter, and I'm 29 years old. I work as the operations director for a regional logistics company, overseeing distribution for 17 warehouses across 4 states. I pull in $155 in a year, plus bonuses, but you wouldn't know it if you asked my family. To them, I'm still just the warehouse girl who got lucky with a supervisor position. They think I'm barely scraping by. I've been living under their roof for 6 years, paying for everything. Rent, utilities, groceries, insurance, you name it. I've never once asked for help, but all they've ever done is take. They think they're entitled to my money, and I've let them believe it. I never let on that I'm financially set. Instead, I watched. I watched them spend like there was no tomorrow. My mother, Deborah, asking for money for her mental health, spa weekends. My father, Brian, needing cash for his buddy's new car repairs, only to use it to hit the bars. And my sister, Hannah, whose so-called career was just a joke to her, posting selfies and eating out at places I paid for while calling herself an influencer. But this year things changed. I'd had enough. They thought I was some poor soul, trapped in a lowly warehouse job. So I decided to show them the truth, but not in the way they expected. I wasn't going to beg for their respect. Instead, I gave them a choice: respect my boundaries or face the consequences. And trust me, I had the perfect plan to make sure they'd never forget who they were really messing with. So grab your popcorn. This is going to get wild. The thing is, I've never been the type to make a scene. I'm not one for confrontation. I'd always just quietly pay the bills and pretend it didn't bother me when my family treated me like an ATM. But the reality had been sinking in for a while now. It all started to feel like a game where I was the pawn and they were the players. For years, I'd been funding their lives, everything from groceries to rent, utilities, even things like vacations and spa treatments. I never asked for thanks. I didn't need it. But over time, I started to wonder, how long was this going to go on? It wasn't the money itself that bothered me, honestly. It was the lack of appreciation. I'm the one who put in the work. I'm the one who sacrificed my time, my energy, my mental health to climb the corporate ladder while they stayed in their comfort zone. And every time they asked for money, it was like they saw it as their right. Not as a favor, not as a gift. They thought I was some kind of endless resource, and I was tired of it. Take my mom, for instance. Deborah was always stressed about something. She'd call me up, claiming she needed money for a spa weekend because it was good for her mental health. I always handed over the cash, believing she was doing it to relax. But later, I'd hear about how she wasn't even happy with the hotel. She'd complain to her friends about how it wasn't fancy enough. And don't get me started on the clothes. The expensive, designer outfits she'd pick up when she was feeling down. Always a justification, always an excuse. Then there was Brian, my dad. He'd come to me one evening, asking for a loan to fix his car. He said the transmission was shot, and without it, he couldn't get to work. I believed him. I transferred the $950 right away, thinking it was an emergency. But the next day, I drove past a Buffalo Wild Wings and saw his car parked there. He was inside, having wings with his buddies. Wings, the same money I gave him for an emergency, was being spent on a casual afternoon out. I was furious. But did I say anything? Of course not. I kept my mouth shut and stewed over it for weeks. And then there was Hannah, my younger sister, who had somehow convinced herself that she was going to become an influencer.